Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. I bet you guys didn't know that you do not have the right to keep and bear arms. Well, at least according to the Mercury News. Let's talk about this article, which is, it's a doozy. Let's get to it. This video is sponsored by Acre Gold, which is definitely something I suggest you check out. They let you buy gold incrementally, which is something that I've been doing now for over a year, and it's really worked out well. We don't all have the money that it takes to buy an ounce or two of gold. It gets very expensive. So with Acre Gold, you can get in for as little as $30 a month, and once you reach a threshold, they send you a physical bar of gold. That's something tangible, a physical asset that you can hold that has value behind it. Unlike some other places where you buy gold, they just give you a certificate and somebody else has control over the physical gold, you have physical gold in hand. So it's a great way to start stacking up that gold and, have a physical asset that has value behind it, especially these days when, America's been printing money like crazy and the value of the dollar is in question. It's just, it's a tangible asset that is a physical hedge against inflation. And it's a great way to get into gold on a budget. I know we're all on a budget right now, but Acre Gold allows you to get in there in a way where you're not really breaking the bank to get a physical gold bar in your hand that you can start stacking in your safe. So check out Acre Gold below. I will put a link for you guys there. Let's get started. Okay, so let's go and talk about this article in the Mercury real quick, and I'll go ahead and I'll leave a link down below so you guys can read it for yourself, because honestly, after I read it to you here in just a minute, you may not actually believe that this is a real article out there in the public sphere for people to read and maybe even believe. We all know that the author believes what he's saying because, well, he wrote it, right? In my opinion, it's just absolute trash and garbage, but this is great insight into how the other side thinks. If you want to, get into their brain and see how their thought process works, because the Second Amendment, the text is the same words. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. When you read that text, it's the same. So how is it we're coming out to two totally different conclusions? Well, it's because one of the sides is wrong, and I'm just going to call it out as wrong right now, and even the Supreme Court has ruled on it, but you guys are going to have a collective eye roll, and I'm sure people are going to be yelling at the phone over what this author actually says. So the article starts off by just giving the plain text of the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Then the article goes on to say, the preceding sentence is the entire text of the Second Amendment, and there is nothing in there about the right to own guns. Okay, go ahead and swirl that around in your brain real quick. It does reference the right to keep and bear arms, but a private citizen does not bear arms. Even the police or hunters who carry guns do not bear arms. In fact, the Second Amendment clearly defines who does have the right to bear arms, and it specifies a well-regulated militia. Hopefully I read that clear enough for you guys. Give you some time to think about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and break this article down and go over it sentence by sentence. I feel like that's the responsible thing to do. So let's go over each one of the things that he says in this article and determine whether or not I feel it's right. So the preceding sentence is the entire text of the Second Amendment. Hey, you got that one right. That is the entire text of the Second Amendment. Good for you. And there is nothing in there about the right to own guns. Okay, well, let's go ahead and go back up to the Second Amendment here and see. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, so obviously we've determined that it's people, and there's also the word keep in there. The Supreme Court has already determined that the word keep means owning and possessing. So we already know what the word keep is, not to mention we can look up keep in the dictionary. So it does say own in there, okay, just based off of the word keep. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a deep dive into this next sentence, which obviously is going to be really difficult to debunk. It was written so eloquently that there's no way that we're going to be able to disprove this, but let's go ahead and give it a shot. It says, it does reference the right to keep and bear arms, but a private citizen does not bear arms. Okay, well, he says the private citizen does not bear arms. Well, according to, again, the Supreme Court, bearing arms means carrying firearms. So I went ahead and I looked it up. Let's just go ahead and look up the straight definition from Oxford. Okay, so the Oxford Dictionary has the definition of bearing arms as carrying firearms. Carrying, okay? That's it. It doesn't say that you have to carry in a different way or a specific way or anything. If you're carrying one, you are bearing arms. That is a actual definition. So he's saying that it doesn't, the average citizen doesn't do that. But again, that's what the sentence says, even though that's also not true. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this next sentence, which is another great one. Now, obviously, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's done his research. You know, he's published in the Mercury. He's putting articles out there for people to read. So he must have done his research and he knows what's actually true. So again, this next sentence must be true, but we're going to do our best here to try and debunk that. Even the police or hunters who carry guns do not bear arms. Now, again, I refer the author of this article to the actual definition of carrying guns, which is bear arms. And I also refer him back to the Supreme Court and how the Supreme Court has looked at those two words and the determination that the Supreme Court has come up with as well. So when he says, you know, again, who carry guns means bear arms, right? He's 100% wrong in that, which is kind of ironic because he starts his next sentence with, in fact. In fact means he's not guessing. This is not his own personal idea of what's going on here, that this is fact, okay? This next sentence is, to me, just as wrong, and it's very easily provable by reading the text that he wrote above. So the last sentence that we have here is, in fact, the Second Amendment clearly defines who does have the right to bear arms, and it specifies a well-regulated militia. That's actually 100% false as well. Now, there's been a lot of debate over the comma in the Second Amendment and how it separates the militia from the people. But it has been shown, again, by the Supreme Court and by everybody out there who simply has a brain and can read for themselves, that the comma separates the people from the militia. The militia is made up of people. However, the people's right is going to be separate. So if you take a look at the Second Amendment and we apply the comma, the right, okay, let me go back down to his sentence. It clearly defines who does have the right to bear arms, and it specifies, this is again, in fact, specifies a well-regulated militia. When in fact, okay, this is fact, the Second Amendment says, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So that comma separates the people from the militia. So it's saying here that the right of the people, it says, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So it's the people's right. And again, this is another thing where you can go ahead and you can take a look at, you know, the cases that the Supreme Court has heard and, you know, how they've analyzed things. And they themselves even say that the people are separate from the militia. But he says, in fact, that I'm wrong. That I'm wrong and that it specifies that that right only applies to the militia, even though it says the right of the people. So it is a very interesting article. I thought it would throw your way, but if you go ahead and you read the article for yourself, you will get an inside look at the mind of somebody who has an agenda and how they read the exact same text that we're reading, the exact same text that everybody else reads, and somehow comes up to a different conclusion. It's because they say, in fact, even though the fact is staring you right in the face with the text. So I thought this was a really interesting one that you guys could take a look at yourself, and hopefully an eye-opening and entertaining one, and a little bit jaw-dropping. So I just wanted to share that with you. You guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell notification because they are completely shadow banning me right now. And I'd appreciate it. Little thumbs up. Have a great day.